Hey guys, KiwiSylveon, and welcome back to Seduce Me to the Demon War. This might be the end of it, like the end of Sam's Road at least. I have a lot more I want to do. Oh boy, this has become like amazing. Each time I play through it, I still feel each emotion. I feel the anger, the everything. It's just awesome. Michaela, you made this game more playable and still awesome. And in the last episode, yeah, we faced Malix, and Sam and I utterly obliterated him. And we fought the Demon Lord. Sam burnt him to a crisp almost. And we're just celebrating. We're having fun. It's going to be awesome.
I won't be the only one who dies here.
His whispered voice barely reached out to my ears. It couldn't be. I looked over, horrified as I saw the Demon Lord, barely pushing up on his hands, glaring at me through the smoke surrounding him with crazed, almost psychotic eyes. As he suddenly pointed his hand at me, everyone else had only just turned around to see him.
Die!
Within a mere breath of a second, a line of red lightning was fired straight at me from his outstretched hand. I didn't have time to react. I didn't have time to think. Time seemed to move in slow motion as the red bolt inched closer to my body, about to make impact with my sternum. Sam, despite his speed, wasn't fast enough to stop his journey toward my chest. I could see my life flash before my eyes. It was over.
No!
I felt my body being pushed violently to the side, away from the incoming attack. I turned my head as I was pushed and stared wide-eyed at who was pushing me away. With a crash, the window behind us shattered, with Diana flying out of it. Diana, who had been beside me the entire fight, stared at the incoming attack as she took my place in its trajectory. There was no time to shout back. Wasn't any time to stop it from happening. I could only watch as the ray slammed against Diana's chest and forced her body backwards into the stained glass behind us. My gaze followed Diana's body, seeing her look to me with a sad, teary-eyed smile. There were no words that could be said as she flew into the air. There was no way to grab her and pull her back. All I could do was watch as Diana's body arched back and plummeted downwards towards the decaying sea below. She no longer had her wings, so she couldn't fly to save herself.
Any creature unfortunate enough to fall into that cursed stretch of water will be doomed to sink into an endless black void. They can never die due to the dark magic in the water, but they can never come back up. There's no saving them.
No! I reached out, despite the futility of it, towards Diana and watched her sink through the air as gravity took hold. I barely had time to blink as a figure ran past my body and pushed off the ledge of the window, zipping straight toward Diana's body.
Isaiah!
Cerro, face pale as snow, had projected his body towards her and had managed to wrap his arms around her form, causing her to cling to him. Both demons, however, plummeted down toward the dark waters, quickly vanishing from sight. I couldn't even see their splash as their body they hit the water surface. Diana! I gripped the edge of the tower, not believing what I was seeing. This couldn't have been real. Diana and Cerro were gone? Even as Cerro called her name? Even as magic was on their side? How could they be gone? The garbled noise of Demon Lord's throat being impaled barely caused me to turn, to see Sam ram his sword through his father's neck. At last the Demon Lord fell, lifeless for sure. However, my vision became obscured by tears. I watched behind a veil of tears as Sam rushed over to me and wrapped his arms around me, pulling me close and laying my head on his shoulder.
Are you okay?
I could barely even utter a no or shake my head. I buried my face into Sam's shoulder, gripping to him as the sight of Diana falling burned itself into my memory. I felt something in my soul lift and disappear, but I couldn't have cared less. I heard the heavy sounds of footsteps rush toward us, but I didn't lift my head up.
Sam!
Wait, where's...
Diana and Sarah were gone.
Gone?
They fell into the sea.
I felt Sam nod, still hugging me tightly. He held my head close to him as he spoke for us.
Diana saved her from that bastard's last attack. The guard jumped after her.
A sad silence engulfed the room. What could have been said? The Demon Lord was defeated, but the rebellion had lost its queen. For a moment the world felt dark and cold, as if the war had been lost alongside Diana, despite the rebellion obtaining victory. I gripped onto Sam, feeling deep sadness for the entire situation. Diana saved my life, sheltered me, and fell into a seemingly endless sea because of me. Sam, feeling my anguish, tightened his embrace around me and let me bury my face in his chest. The war had ended at last, but now we didn't know where to go. At least that's what I thought. Sam gently loosened his brace around me and looked at the remaining rebel demons with a hard gaze. I looked up, wiping my eyes in confusion. What was wrong now?
Will you all honor her words?
Her... words? Wait, she gave it to you?
What? There's more? What does that mean? Faye looked to her companions as they stared at Sam in shock.
Well, we don't have much of a choice, do we?
We can't exactly refuse the Lord of Dragons.
I looked up at Sam, feeling completely lost. Sam looked down at me and helped me stand before releasing my body and stepping away from me. With a sigh, he looked down at the floor. Sam?
Diana made me promise something. If she died,
Then... Sam looked to his brothers in nervousness. I looked over as well to see them confused, but ushering him to continue before turning back to Sam and holding his hands. Then what?
if she died, then I'd step in for the rebellion and take the throne.
I stared wide-eyed at Sam. What? Sam was now the leader of the rebellion? What of the others? I looked to the other rebel leaders to see them bow their head to Sam, answering my mental question caused me to look back at my fiancé. What about us? Would Sam believe me? Would he make me stay? Did that make me a queen? Did that mean I had to stay no matter what? We had to stay? What about the human world? Sam, most likely feeling my nervousness in my hands, grasped them and gently pulled me to him.
Look, I made a promise to her, but I'm yours first. If taking the throne means leaving you, then I'd rather burn it.
Hey!
Shut up, Faye. Sam. His eyes burned deep into my gaze, showing me his utter devotion. He was serious about needing to take it, but I knew that he would never leave me or force me away from him. Sam gently rubbed my hands with his thumbs and stared down at them.
So, I'm leaving the choice up to you. The Demon Lord's dead, so we can go back and live normal lives and whatever in the human world.
Or we can stay and rule the demon world. Sam nodded, affirming my assumption. It was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how to respond. The dream of me looking back to see my family and friends began to haunt me. If I stayed, I would never be able to see them again. More than that, would the demon world even accept a human queen? Would I have to become a demon or something? Sam nodded as Shadow stepped up.
Naturally, demons would never accept a human as their ruler. Besides, while it is impossible for a demon to be separated from their magic and become human, the same isn't the case the other way around.
We'd be able to turn you into a succubus, a demon of Lilith, as they were originally formed from a being who was once human before.
So I would be a succubus if I stayed, but I'd be ripping myself away from my family, my friends? Was it fair to them? Was it fair to me? what about my family and friends? Sam lowered his head as James stepped forward.
If you decide to stay, then we would be tasked with asking angels to remove any memories of you from the human world.
My heart dropped. My parents, my friends, anyone who knew me would forget? It would be for the best, but to think that I would no longer exist for them made my eyes water slightly. I wasn't sure what to say. I felt myself freeze in place, unsure of whether to run back into the light of the human world or stay in the dark of the demon world. I could feel the situation sink hard into my stomach, but I knew I had to make this choice. Thoughts of Diana pushing me away from the Demon Lord's final attack replayed in my head, reminding me that she gave her life for me when she was meant to take up the responsibility of having the world on her shoulders. Sam gripped my hands tightly, causing me to gaze up into his eyes.
I know this is a big decision, but just know that whatever you choose, I'll be with you no matter what.
I stared up at him, seeing the endless world of love buried within his emerald eyes. He would put me first no matter what, but what would I choose? My family and friends were important to me, but this world became important too. I closed my eyes, remembering my grandfather's words. You should do what makes you happy. I opened my eyes and smiled at Sam, my heart finally reaching a decision. I want to return to the human world. My heart belonged there. I was human after all. I knew the demon world was important to Sam and Diana, but I would never be truly happy here. I missed the blue sky and the sweet air of home calling me back. The curse had been on me and been lifted. We fought the war to return home. That was what we had to do. Sam smiled and nodded. Slightly and nodded. The incubi and the wives smiled as well, but the rebel leaders lowered their heads and looked to each other in concern. I quickly turned to them, not wanting to leave them without a plan. Work together to rebuild this world. Diana would have wanted that from all of you. A lump in my throat almost blocked me from finishing that sentence. It was deeply painful to refer to Diana as dead, as she gave her life for me, but the world needed a leader, and it had 4. The 4 rebel leaders looked to each other and nodded.
We will do our best. Thank you for trusting the world with us.
What are we gonna do first? We could do all kinds of really amazing things, like rebuild the forests. No, wait, have a party. Wait, no.
Faye, quiet.
Oh, lighten up. The war is over. We have a reason to celebrate.
I smiled, happy to know that the world was in good hands. However, Faye took a breath and looked at me with a small smile before forming a small lavender-colored lily in her hand.
Before you go, though, since Diana is, well, she wanted to give you this.
I stared at the flower in surprise. What was it? I reached out and took it into my hands, practically feeling magic and energy run through it. It's lovely.
A flower of Lilith. But how can that be?
They were said to have died out generations ago.
I continued to stare at the flower, entranced by its spell. It was such a gorgeous-looking flower, I could barely tear my eyes away.
Put it behind your ear. I think she said it was magical or something.
I tilted my head before nodding and lifting it to tuck behind my ear. As it settled against my ear, I felt mist circle my head and form a flower crown of lavender lilies. The way everyone looked at me made me feel like I was in my bridal wear already.
Whoa.
Amazing!
I looked at Sam, seeing him grin from ear to ear at the sight of me. I blushed, feeling somehow timid with the flower crown on my head, but happy to know that it had rendered my fiancé speechless. However, as I lifted my hand to the flowers, feeling their soft petals, I could feel the world fade to a white color. Huh? From the direction of where Diana had fallen, a figure stepped toward me, bathed in light. I covered my eyes with my arms for a moment before seeing who it was. Diana? With a smile, Diana stopped in front of me and gently ran her hand along the crown over the petals of flowers. I stared wide-eyed at Diana, unbelieving that I was seeing her.
I expected you to choose the human world. Really, dear. So predictable.
Diana. Diana chuckled, stopping me from whatever I was planning on saying, before cupping my chin to make me gaze into her eyes.
Well then, promise me that you will take care of the brute. He needs a strong woman guiding him, and you've been blessed by the flowers of Lilith. So it seems you're up to the task.
I felt tears form and drip down my cheeks, but I nodded. Something in my heart lifted, and I felt at ease with everything. I had made the right choice. With a smile, Diana tilted forward and kissed my forehead beneath the crown before stepping away.
May you be happy with your choice, dear. And thank you.
I just realized that's a flashback to the first, when Diana told you the same thing. Oh my god. Took me 17 playthroughs almost. Well, yeah, because I speak through mouse of it, but still. Diana slowly turned and began to walk further into the light of the area. Sero, who was also bathed in light, slowly appeared and waited for Diana with an arm out for her. Diana took his hand and smiled up at him before looking to me, nodding and walking away. As they both vanished into the light, the world around me reappeared with everyone staring at me in shock.
Whoa, hey. Are you alright?
What? Huh? I quickly looked at Sam before lifting my hands to my cheek, feeling trails of my rogue tears left behind over my skin. I wet my eyes and cheeks before nodding, laughing softly. I'm fine. Sorry. I smiled brightly, taking in a breath, and looked up at Sam while taking his hands. Let's go home. Home.
Well, you did it! Congratulations! You've made it to the end of your story. I have to say, I am very surprised at how it turned out. Nevertheless, I'm glad things worked out in the end, whether it was for the better or otherwise. You and Sam deserve to be happy. I mean, you both went through a dragon's trial to be together. A dragon's trial. Those are tough. Still, it all worked out, right? You defeated the Demon Lord and got to return home to the human world. Anyways, you've been through a lot, so why don't we skip to... Huh? You want to know what happened after the war?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess I could tell you.
Please, Kay, please.
After the war was finished, the entire rebellion celebrated. Word spread far and wide about the rebellion's success, and soon every kingdom in the abyssal plains had become united with the new authority.
Booyah.
You would think demons would be more hostile towards each other, being demons and all, but the threat of the Demon Lord was what brought the entire world together.
Sweet.
Since Diana and Sero fell to their demise, and you decided to return to the human world with Sam, the rebel leaders took up the mantle together and vowed to bring peace and prosperity to the demon world. While it was a tough time for them, as a majority of the world still mourned the loss of the rebel queen, they managed to bring the world together and bring a steady peace to the demons within it. They worked diligently to this day, trying to bring equality to the entire world and create a world their queen would have been proud of. And I believe that is everything that happened after, well, except for your story anyway. Sam and you returned home and prepared to get married at last. No distractions, no kidnappings. Huh? How do I know? Well, I have my ways. Maybe you should check it out.
By the time I had returned to the human world, I had regained all of my pre-wedding jitters. My mind began to furiously worry about the wedding again, all the way until it came time to walk down the aisle. After that, it was surprisingly smooth sailing. I would forever remember the moment the bells chimed and the taste of Sam's lips on mine as we were pronounced wife and husband. The ceremony erupted in cheers, and the reception carried that energy into the night. I could go on and on about the wedding and the honeymoon, but honestly, After the war? I was more concerned about living my life afterwards. Our lives escalated to new heights after we officially became husband and wife. Sam began to climb the ladder of the public service chain and eventually became chief of police. Everyone at work respected him, even the criminals that came in after being arrested. As for me, I began to go through my own success in life, dedicating myself to becoming exactly what I wanted to be. After all, my husband was a cop who was also secretly a demon. If I put in the same amount of work as I did in the demon world, then I was going to be okay. However, there was never a day that passed that went by that I didn't think about what was happening in the abyssal plains. It was a heavy chapter in my life, one that tested the love between me and Sam. To think that I was married to the Lord of Dragons. Apparently, it was a very powerful title to own, and I happened to be in love with the man who carried it. A title that, like that, I was sure, carried a large amount of responsibility. Still, I was confident that we would get through it and stay together no matter what came our way. Demon, devil, dragon, it didn't matter to us. We were unstoppable together. The faint memory of my own power slightly tingled through me every time I grew confident, eagerly reminding me that I had a strength of my own. I would never let anyone come between me and Sam ever again. Standing over the stove, I took a moment to let my mind wander as the breakfast I was preparing slowly cooked. Sam was still passed out in bed, tired from working the day before, so I let him sleep peacefully. It was adorable remembering his sleepy face, a goofy grin, hair rustled and wild, expressions surprisingly peaceful. I could only chuckle as I began to plate our food and arrange the breakfast tray to carry it off. The plates weren't a problem, but the glasses and jug of orange juice made it a challenge. I, however, was confident enough in my skills to carry breakfast to our room to surprise Sam. Everything smells great. Let's hope it tastes good, too. I slowly made my way to the bedroom, climbing the stairs one step at a time. While it was usually true that you lose balance the slower you go when carrying something, I didn't want to just bolt up the stairs in hopes of getting everything there in one piece. As I finally arrived, I quietly slipped into the room. At the sight of the still sleeping Sam, I smiled and let out a silent sigh of relief before walking in and placing the tray of food on the nearby nightstand. The sight of Diana's lily caught my attention. It was in a beautiful vase Sam and I had custom ordered, decorating the nightstand perfectly. Because of its magical nature, it was still alive and looked freshly bloomed as the day I received it. Despite it being a bittersweet day, Sam and I cherished the lily and cared for it a lot. It was a physical memory of an important chapter in my life, and I felt blessed to still have it. I let out another sigh before walking around the bed and sitting on the spot I usually slept in before gently nudging Sam. Sam? Sam, it's almost 10 a.m. Come on. When Sam didn't move, I simply chuckled. He was indeed a deep sleeper. I gently leaned in and kissed Sam's cheek, hoping to break the spell of sleep on him with a true love's kiss. It's time to get up, Sam.
5 more minutes.
I could only laugh before crawling further onto the bed and sitting beside him. While breakfast was waiting, Sam deserved to sleep a bit longer. He had been working hard ever since his promotion, so it was no surprise to see him struggle to get up. Gotta do that. I ruffled Sam's hair a bit, making him groan and push my hands off tiredly, but that only spurred me to laugh harder. As I did, Sam finally opened his eyes and stared up at me, an exhaustion haze evident in his gaze. I covered my mouth and giggled, a little apologetic for waking him up with my laughter. Sorry, I'll be quiet. Sam shook his head and yawned, stretching his arms up and shutting his eyes before opening them again and lazily looking up at me from his pillow.
Morning, doofus.
Morning, Sam. I made breakfast. Sam sniffed the air and turned his head to look at the tray before nodding and returning to his lazy pose on the bed.
Smells good. Bet it tastes even better.
I would hope so. Sam gave me a toothy grin before gently pulling me down to lie beside him. Oh, Sam? I was silenced by Sam nuzzling my shoulder and pulling me close to cuddle against my body. My face began to heat as I felt his warmth around me.
I'll eat in a bit. I want to stay here for a while.
I took the moment in before nodding and wrapping my arms around him, nuzzling his chest. Sam smiled and kissed my head, relaxing into the embrace. He felt perfect in my arms, and nothing could have been better than being held by him. It was like lying in paradise. Did you sleep okay?
Mm-hmm. You?
Mm-hmm. Our words became simple, but our embrace only intensified our love for each other. The bed became like a cloud, and the room almost lost its shape in my eyes, as all I could focus on was Sam.
I love you. You know that, right?
I love you too.
I mean it. I love you and care about you so much.
I looked up at Sam, seeing the love he spoke of burn brightly in his eyes as he locked his gaze with mine. I felt my heart beating wildly in my chest before leaning up and nuzzling my forehead with a peaceful and happy smile. And I use Sam more than anyone will ever know. There's nothing more that needed to be said. Our feelings were simple but powerful enough to move continents. Our love may have seemed plain at a glance, but within our hearts burned the flames of our devotion and passion for one another. I couldn't stop my smile from growing before leaning in and kissing Sam lovingly, feeling him kiss back with the same amount of love and passion I had. No matter what, we would always find each other. We would always wind up back in each other's arms, and we would fly through every obstacle in our way on the wings of our love. That was my purpose, happily ever after. That's it. Yay! And I think I'm about to wrap up, but I have to say, Michaela has overdid it with this one. It's replayable. Each time you play it through, you can still feel emotions. It's just amazing. I just love that each of them have a different, story type now. I mean, the first one's playable, but it's the same storyline, but they each get different storyline. They each get different endings, good and bad. It's just amazing. I love you, Michaela. You made this a great, great series, but I'm sad that it's done. I would have liked to see, I hate to put pressure on Michaela, but perhaps, something that if you stayed in the demon world, like a game that goes off of that, or maybe even an epilogue to that, or something that follows after them. I know that's a lot, but perhaps more things will pop up. I don't know. I don't want to stress Michaela, but there's plenty of things she can do, but I understand. I could see possible sequels, I guess, but it's done. And Sam is so adorable looking at me. I can't help it. But, yeah. I'm going to wrap it up, and I got a lot more work for me ahead. I still gotta go back through Seduce Me and play Matthew and, go through Damien's. Come back to Seduce Me 2. Go through James and Eric, since I did those two in that order. And then go through Matthew and Damien. And, yeah. And there's also the epilogues for Eric and James I have to do, too. Seduce Me is, my major thing now. But I will also get back to the 100 Baby Challenge, which I should try to record today. At least before I go to work. And I need to get food in my belly. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making this series what it is now. Awesome. You guys have literally come through with watching the demo I played. I've been watching everything skyrocket with you guys. It's just, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Michaela, for creating such good games. And I can't wait to see what happens. Who knows? Maybe Michaela will pull a cock-talthon and pull something out of her butt. Please don't actually pull something out of your butt, Michaela, please. Anyway, remember to leave like, comment, subscribe, and thanks. That's all I can really say. I will see you in either the 100 Baby Challenge, the epilogue for James and Eric, and back in Seduce Me 2 for their paths. Bye.